Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you all having a fantastic night. This is Gaming with a Side of Salt. I am Zio, and over there is Chad, and Meg will be right back.
Where's the private chat?
It's under the live chat.
It's
Gotta
not
grab
there
lunch. She'll be right back. Well, that's fine. She can show up.
for me. It's not there for me.
It's there.
Huh.
Use Discord then.
Okay. Good point. Fair point. When we start talking about Oblivion, I got a video.
Okay, well, we got a
It's
lot
a
of
short one.
Oblivion stuff to get to eventually, but yes, tonight we'll be talking about Oblivion, Ubisoft, and many more things.
Many more things.
Many more things. I'm gonna put Meg over there.
That's right. The big portrait of shame.
The portrait of be right back.
I like her BRB though. It's colorful. It's flashy.
Yeah, mine's not.
I am full of the colors now.
Mine is just my background with that right here covered, and it like this right here covered, and it says BRB instead of whatever that is, poor shit or something.
Let me know when you want me to disable my camera so you can go through. Okay. All right, dear. All right. Anyway, so yeah, Meg apparently didn't get her splash screen up in time. I saw her face.
I know, right? I exist.
Yeah.
I have one.
You look a lot like my friend Kat.
I do? Okay.
I saw it at first. It was like, wait, is Meg Kat? There's no way. There's no way.
Kat trolled you this whole time.
I wouldn't be surprised.
You know what? Every time I meet somebody, they always know somebody who looks almost exactly like me, according to them. So we are legion, apparently. I exist all over the place.
Yeah, I know. You had to deactivate camera for a second.
I dropped it. Okay, it's been dropped.
But yeah, what's funny, I'm definitely curious now to see what you look like, Meg, so I can see if you look like anybody I know.
I probably do.
Here's the thing. It's going to be a challenge because I know like 5 people.
Yeah. Well,
so
I don't know, man. I don't even know what to tell you.
While we wait for Zio, I got something exciting to share.
Okay, go ahead. It's sharing time, ladies.
I started exercising.
Wow.
Me and
Is
my
it
wife.
Like jazzercise or like?
No. Me and my wife got a membership at the local Y, and they have a heated indoor pool that I fell in love with.
Yeah, the Y's pretty good for having an indoor pool. So,
so
I've been thinking about doing maybe a Y membership here. Because they've got great things for the kids, and
yeah, it's definitely worth
years
it.
ago they expanded our Y because it used to not really have much there, but they've expanded it. It is so much more than it used to be.
Nice. The funny thing is, when I went swimming, I loved swimming when I was younger, so I was like, this is going to be like getting back on the bike. It's more like getting back on the bike and getting hit by a car. I started to swim. I did like a lap and a half, and then just like you just saw me just drowning. Like
he was dead.
I was like, and the funny thing is, I feel a little targeted because all the lifeguards kind of were watching me.
Well, and I'm like, probably the highest risk factor for death. So
the funny thing is, I think that was it.
Maybe you were the new guy. They were like, we don't know him. Well, let's check his level. And then they saw you do a lap and a half, and they were like, oh, we were right to watch him. So
yeah, he's like, he might die. and the funny thing is, like, I ain't gonna lie, there was one time I almost threw up because I was doing lap after lap after lap, and we stayed for about 45 minutes. And we'd rest.
What were you doing? Was it like normal freestyle, or are you doing like breaststroke or butterfly or something?
I did. It was a mix between breaststroke because I can't do like the overhead regular swimming because my left shoulder.
It was the flailing about and hope he didn't sink style.
That actually was a couple times. My camera that way.
Let's see. I'm trying to think. Like if there's something that's more. So one thing that I would do is like, so you know the butterfly.
Yeah, is that just where you go like that, or?
It's the one. So it's the one where you literally put your hands out in front of you. You pull the water underneath you,
Oh, yeah, I
and
did
then you
that.
bring your arms over and around.
Like,
I have
Yeah, so it's
no
not
idea.
it's not as overhead as freestyle,
yeah, so
but
that's pretty much what I did was butterfly and then just the breaststroke. And I did a little bit where I was just kind of floating along just to relax but I felt so exhausted and so good afterwards, like night and day.
I
And
never understand that. Everybody always says that. They're like, "Oh, work out and you'll feel good afterwards." Never, ever. I feel like
oh no
dying.
no,
I
I know
I
I
Well,
felt
felt
like
like dying
I
when
dying.
it was
I
happening. I
routinely will
continue feeling
die,
like dying.
but then in about an hour, I feel pretty good. So,
That's
and
how
then
it
the
was. I
next
felt
day, I
like
feel
That
dying
has never
immediately.
kicked in for me. Not ever. I'm like, I
the
need a
workout
nap. I don't like
euphoria.
people start talking to me and stuff, and I'm like, no, no, you don't understand. I have just escaped the edge of death. I am very tired. And so if I don't get the nap, then I'm just cranky.
Oh
And if
no,
I do get the
I
nap, I'm
went
like, God, my
straight
day's
home
starting
and
yeah, it's just it could be that I'm a weird. I could be, the plaid sheep in the story, and that's fine. But yeah, ugh, I don't get that whole dopamine rush that everybody talks about. They're like, you'll feel great. Never, not once. You're all liars.
so I say we all get together, go to Zio's Y, and we all exercise. Just
Well,
cross
so
Go
country
this,
on a
trip to exercise.
but
road
I
trip,
do,
the 1,000+ miles. Go for it.
well, I do have family that lives in Tennessee. Actually, they moved there through like the weirdest circumstances. All of my family that used to live in California and has moved out has moved under the weirdest circumstances. Like it just bizarre. So yeah, I have family that lives in Tennessee for no reason, and then I have family that lives in Kansas, also no reason. So
All right.
Well, they're not bad places to be.
There.
wait,
This.
what?
So, we have a lot to talk about tonight.
Yeah.
But
I'm sorry, I'm
first,
reading it. What?
Yeah.
but first,
I'm sorry.
before we get into it, recently the Pope apparently died.
Yeah.
And I did hear, or I saw that they had picked a new Pope, it looks like. So we're going to go to the Vatican live and we're going to take a look at the new Pope.
Oh boy.
I don't remember this movie.
Scotty doesn't know that Fiona and me do it in my van.
What movie was this? Was this Eurotrip?
She's anxious, but
Yeah.
she doesn't
Oh.
Yes.
All right.
Congratulations, we got a new Pope, everybody.
Is that James Franco when he was younger?
I think so.
Yeah, yeah, it was, yeah.
I'm sorry, I
That
saw that and
sequence
I
of
had to
events
share
was
it.
quite funny. I liked, the thing that I liked about movies like that, even though they were stupid and afterwards you pretty much forget everything, they did
Yeah.
put thought into how they're going to this weird circumstance sequence of events that leads to the joke. Like all of the jokes weren't just and then he farted. It was
Yeah.
like
There
this
was actual
happens, then this
thought
happens,
put
then
into
this
it.
happens, which leads to this misunderstanding, which leads to this, which leads to that. So it's a bunch of misunderstandings. They're all piled up just so, and you can see it going, and you're like, oh no. But it's just, yeah, I appreciate
Like
the
when there were
creativity
good
that went into
writers.
those things.
Right.
But speaking of bad writers, The Last of Us Part 2, Season 2 TV show.
Okay,
Apparently
all right,
they had their Walking Dead Glenn moment.
yeah.
So
I
that's ticked
mean,
off a lot of people.
I don't like Pedro Pascal because he's just a twat. But I'm like, okay, it's not nice. I'm saying that now. Bella Ramsey is not someone I would want to stare at for an extended period of time. On a screen that is larger than my phone. I mean, she may be able to act. I don't know. I haven't seen anything from the things that I've like the clips that I've seen her in where I'm just like, oh man, that juice is totally worth all of that squeeze that has to go into stop dealing with a face that looks kind of like that. Like it's a very not compelling anti-compelling face. Like, I keep staring at it, going like, I want to fix it somehow.
All that aside, the point I was making is Neil Druckmann was talking about how, the gamers hated that moment, right? And that's why they largely signed off from The Last of Us Part 2 and didn't want to play it and everything, because it was a horrible writing to do that sort of thing. I guess people didn't like it, and he was out telling us how we were wrong, and it was like cinematic masterpiece, blah blah, this, that, and the other. And now that it's happened in the show, even the wokies are like, "Why would you do that? No." And it's like, that's because it sucked, Druckmann. It sucked. Nobody likes it. Nobody's going to like it. They still don't like it.
It blows my mind that The Last of Us was as popular as it is, because I literally played it at a friend's house for 10 minutes and was like, this is absolute ass. The whole game.
People who liked it liked it because of the story.
No. You don't get that. The story is ass. The characters are...
No, I watched.
Listen, I don't care one way or the other. So.
I watched the entire of Last of Us 1. I watched the entire story from the beginning to the end. The opening credits kind of was like, okay, well, this is interesting. It is a slow burn. I'm not going to be like, oh, I totally got to play this. It looked like no fun to play to me, but that is not my jam.
That's the thing. Like here's the thing, Zio. Outside your door, is there a hallway?
No.
Do you have a hallway in your home?
Yes.
Walk through that hallway for hours. You just played Last of Us 2 or Last of Us. Just go back and forth in your hallway, and that is equal to the gameplay of The Last of Us. Oh, you're in this set piece. Then you go to the next set piece. Then you go to the next set piece, and then you die inside.
Were. But anyway, aside from that, I just thought it was funny that they had their moment where their Glenn died, and half the audience is just like, I'm done with this.
Oh, yeah, no, like, it tanked after that.
Yeah, I was wondering how that was going to go the second they got to it, because they didn't do it in the first episode. And
so that was kind of like what my statement, not kind as it was kind of leading to, like, you have to have a lead character who can carry a show after your main character gets his head bludgeoned.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's the only carry in that show. And on top of that, the way they did it in the show does it zero justice compared to the game.
It's not as...
on top of all of that, like in the game, we were confused. So it was actually intriguing outside of the fact that you wound up having to play as Abby because they wanted you to sympathize with her and all this bullshit that nobody wanted to do.
Yeah.
But in the show, they just straight up let her lore dump through that entire sequence and then take him out in broad daylight upstairs and all this other stuff. And it's just like all the tension is gone. All the mystique is gone. The fact that you even just told us why she's doing this gives me no why. Because when you start following her in the show for a good chunk of the episode or whole episodes, I'm not going to care to learn that she had a dog and she was, having this happy-dappy life or whatnot, and she's just misunderstood. Nobody cares. We still want to see a bullet in her head.
Yeah, so I think that the reason that they did that, all that lore dumping before she kills Joel, is because of the fact that after she kills Joel, if you don't have any context for this, you don't care about any of that. Making you play as this person that you hate now. Not just kind of, sort of hate, but hate with the passion of 1,000 suns because you played part 1 and you got to know
they didn't lore dump in the game.
No, that's why you hated her so much.
Yeah,
everybody
that's why you hated her. You already fell in love with Joel, and
you know what got me?
If you did,
you know what got me about that whole scenario, though?
I hated him.
Last of Us 1 exists. This man, Joel, went through a post-apocalyptic hell and came out on top, just to get taken out by a 9-iron. And a lesbian with anger issues.
Yes.
Really? Really?
Actually, isn't she trans or something?
Who cares?
Anyway, she's some
No,
kind
she
of.
just looks trans. And
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, it's supposed to
Is
be
that what it
because
was?
Joel killed her father. So in the final set
Yeah.
piece in part 1, they're going to kill Ellie.
Yeah.
And so he said, "No, they're not. You're not going to do that." And so her in the story of part 2, her Abby's story is that her father was one of the doctors that Joel killed.
That's another thing that doesn't make sense. The whole purpose of taking Ellie there was obviously for that reason, and then he just flips like, wait.
He doesn't know that she.
No,
that she
nobody knows that. See, they say
Yeah.
they can cure, but they
Yeah.
need someone who's immune, right? The
Oh.
dirty secret is
They're going
they're
to kill
killing the immunes to try and create the
cure.
Cure.
And he's like,
That's the dirty secret. Joel learns as he's being escorted out, essentially through that whole thing, that they're going to kill her.
Okay.
And so he's developed
his daughter,
yeah,
because he already let his daughter die once.
Yeah,
he was
so I get that then.
Do it. So he did, the whole father thing. It went through and eradicated everybody and got her out.
Good on him.
And then Abby's whole story is her dad was one of the doctors, so she's out for revenge. But you don't find that out until much later into the game. That's how she's connected to Joel.
So her dad was a piece of shit, and she is. Got it.
Yeah.
So,
and the thing is that, like with this show though, what they tried to do, I think from the reviews that I've seen, and people that have listened rag on about it for extended periods of time, is that they try to kind of get you in on Abby, get you a little bit invested or kind of understanding Abby a little bit more before she kills Joel. Because if you do it after the fact, it doesn't matter. Like that's the dumbest way to go about it. So I think that the show
that's how they did it in the games.
Yeah. So but the thing is that the problem that they have is that now they're stuck with Bella Ramsey trying to carry a show, and I don't know that this chick can do it. Like her face is not something like if she was hot enough or if she had enough personality or something like that you really liked, those two things carry it. But this is a visual medium, and she just doesn't have that going on. It just, if you don't have one, you got to have the other, and I don't think she has either, honestly. Not
to mention, it's going to be very interesting to see if they stick with the original ending or if they actually change it.
Yeah, so, it's such an unsatisfying game, honestly.
Anyway,
I'm sorry.
Let's get into this.
This is nerd stuff.
Creed Shadows can't be uninstalled without paying for it.
I don't understand that. What do you mean?
Okay, so this is a thing that if you have any technical abilities on the computer, you're going to figure it out. How to fix this issue.
Do this.
However, most people, and we're talking most people, don't have that. We're talking like Gen Z, Gen Alpha. They know how to operate these things. Sure, they can do 15,000 things in a second and, go into here, do this, that, and the other, but they don't understand how computers work like our generation does for the most part. So, here's the neat thing about subscription services. If you pay for something like Ubisoft or Microsoft's Game Pass or something like that, and then you discontinue your subscription, the games and stuff will try to continue to update. The problem is, if you don't have the subscription, it won't actually push the update through. It will just tell you it needs an update.
Yep.
Now, for anyone who wants to uninstall something for the most part, so let's bring up Steam real quick and take a look. Where'd my thing go?
Go to your library.
Okay. I know.
Yeah.
If you were to click on something, you can come down here, go into manage, you can uninstall. All right? But if something needs to be updated, it won't let you click that uninstall. It will tell you to update instead. All right? Steam does this, Game Pass does this, Ubisoft Plus does this, Origin does this. This is how these work. The problem is that this guy is running into is the fact that now I've lost the thing. Jeez. Anyway, the problem is this guy has run into the fact that he doesn't have Ubisoft Plus anymore.
So let me get this straight, Ubisoft. I no
And
longer
because he
have
doesn't,
Ubisoft
it won't
Connect
update.
Plus, right? I used the 1 month trial and it's over. But there's an update for the game that I can't do because I don't have it. I'm trying to uninstall the game because I don't want to play it anymore. But I can't uninstall the game because it's saying some of the files cannot be deleted because of the update. So the only way to uninstall this game from my PC is to re-up on this on what is it? Ubisoft Connect. Sorry, I had a brain fart. To re-up on Ubisoft Connect. This is fucking stupid. So let me get this.
Okay, do you want to show what he can do, Zio? Just pick a game on Steam and.
Well, no, because I'm not going to show my other thing over here. Anyway, so what you can go in through uh, the start, do things other ways, and delete it that way. You can also go
Okay,
into the files, delete it that way.
Basic, basically what you can do
You can
is
Google it.
well, on Steam you can do it. On anything else you might have to go through the actual file explorer, but essentially all you got to do is right click on a game, hit manage, browse local files. It'll bring you right to where your game's installed, and there's this magic little file called uninstall. Click that and it'll uninstall.
But anyway, you can also do it through the apps if you go through that section as well. The point is, most normal people don't know how to do any of that.
No, which
And
is
this is the problem we're going to start running and hearing more about.
no, and
At
these are
this
the people
point
that
is
make more
people
money than
going,
us.
I have to or repay for a subscription service to uninstall my game. It's like,
No, you don't. But
that's what it's setting, right?
yeah,
Which is a conundrum for people who don't understand that you can uninstall the game without going through the Steam browser or something. But I mean, some of the other Steam actually will take you directly to the file area
yeah,
when you right click on it and stuff. Other launchers don't do that
yeah. I know, and they should. It's a great
because I don't
system,
think
but
Epic allows me to do that. But I'm not
you
on
can
there enough to know. So
go through explore file explorer, see. Uh,
yeah, but then you got to know where your stuff is and things like that. But again, we're talking about people who don't quite understand. They
just
know it
because
works, but they
ignorance
don't
of the
know
law
how
is
it
not
works.
ignorance of the law is not exclusion of the law. Just because you don't know how to do it doesn't mean there's not a way to do it.
Oh yeah. But anyway, I just
In
thought
other
that was a
words,
thing that needed to be touched on real quick because if you are running into that problem, Google is your friend at this moment. You can install these things without needing to pay Ubisoft.
it's a skill issue.
That it is. But anyway, Assassin's Creed, I'm begging you, please just end like a normal video game. So the journalists are starting to turn on Assassin's Creed now. Fool me twice, shame on everyone. Like, seriously, if you're being fooled 3 times, that is just shame on yourself at this point.
Yeah.
Very much shame on you. You
Well,
should have
it's a
learned after the
journalist. I
second
doubt
one.
they take any accountability.
But anyway, so yeah, this is pretty much just an article where journalists are complaining about how Ubisoft games just don't end right. It is storming outside because why not?
What is he complaining about though? Can you scroll up a little bit? Wait, no, leave it there. Have to end it all, and you're drawn deep into your character to have it all in so abruptly is a huge disappointment. Um, I'm not sure what he's. I'm not sure what he's talking about. So I did watch the playthrough of that. I'm not sure if the person that I watched play through it played it out of order, but the way that he played it, I was like, this would be so anticlimactic to me. So what he had to do is he goes through the main story and kills off all the main guys, but he's like, oh, it looks like the game isn't over. And so then he has to play like these individual characters, individual stories, which just kind of have these like little personal things going on, but that's not what you've been building up to. It's like a
Yeah.
comic. But Dude, I'm sorry. In the game when it's over, like you just, ugh. Yeah. There's somebody was doing a video on Assassin's Creed Shadows and saying, he was making a mockery, but he was saying that Ubisoft is basically saying our games are not to be enjoyed; they're to be endured, and that's kind of what it seems like. It's like they're just adding crap on there just to make the game longer. And I'm like, you know
Yeah.
what? That was kind of my problem with Tears of the Kingdom. I don't need this game to be like to take like 3 months of my life with no rest. I want a story that I enjoy. I want some gameplay that I enjoy. Then end. Thank you very much. Move on. I don't need you to be the one piece of video games. It's ridiculous.
What has happened is it doesn't have a hard end.
It doesn't. No, I saw it.
Like that's one of the things that people really liked about New Vegas was where the other games they would end and then you kept exploring the wastelands or whatnot, but in New Vegas you don't. You get an ending. It tells you what happened to everybody, and that's it. That's game.
Yeah, I don't know why.
And Assassin's Creed doesn't have that either. But the thing is, Assassin's Creed is one of those games that it really should just have a hard end.
Yeah.
You get to it, you beat the last guy, that should be game. Give you the fancy, nice cutscene that finishes up everything. Game over, roll credits.
Yeah, all of the endings.
And it doesn't do that. And I get it. I understand this guy. Like, the game he's playing is a game that should have a hard end, or her, or whatever,
Yeah, well, it's so long, and then on top of that, it's just like the ends just feel like tapering ends of a tree branch or something. They don't feel like the end of all things. Like this is a resolution. You feel like, oh, well, okay. It's kind of like your normal life, when you were having trouble with your boss, when your boss never got fired, you got to kind of squash it, but you squashed it quietly. So it's like, oh, are you still having problems? No, how did that resolve? We just stopped talking to each other in the hallways, and then eventually we were able to like nod at each other, and now when we see each other in the coffee room, we just like, hey, do you want some sugar? No, thank you, I'm good.
Oh, it'd be great if I could do that. No, I gotta interact with everybody.
But yeah, so we're complaining that it doesn't have a normal ending.
Yeah.
Well, I mean that's likely. That's just. I feel like this is this guy's way of trying to save face because the game itself is not being well received, and so he's like, "Oh, well, I didn't know that it wouldn't be that the ending would be so bad. So I think it's bad." But he's saying it's bad for a different reason. Other people are like, "No, it's just a bad game."
Yeah, and here's the thing.
No, it's just because it has a stupid ending. No, bro.
Well, here's the thing. Also, let's be real. It has that stupid ending because they thought this would be good enough to do spin-offs and shit.
Maybe.
I guarantee you. They wanted this to be like Assassin's Creed 2, where there was like 10 spin-off games. And I have no... Like, I think Ubisoft's going to go under.
Well, Ubisoft got saved by Tencent, so it doesn't matter at this moment.
Oh, that's right.
I mean, they were infused with like $4 billion from Tencent for 25% of its assets. So,
yeah, I forgot.
It's just a matter of time before that 25 becomes 50, and then 75, and then Ubisoft is like Riot, where it's I think Riot's the one that's 100% owned by Tencent practically at this point. So, like more than a majority.
Yeah, it's like a frying pan slow cooker sort of thing.
Yeah, which makes sense because maybe now that with Tencent there, and Tencent's usually hands off with a lot of stuff too, for the companies they have. But I wonder if Tencent's going to nudge them in certain non-woke directions.
They might, because they're gonna want a profit. That's
because they weren't doing so hot beforehand.
I'll be right back.
Alrighty, well, the Nintendo Switch 2 price is remaining the same in the US, apparently, despite tariffs, but accessories will experience price adjustments. And, so the Switch 2 is going to be $450 in the US. Because why not? Let's see, where is it? This is it. Yeah,
Yeah,
here's various prices for things. So,
Joy-Con strap is $14. That is so dumb. Oh my
no,
gosh.
listen, the strap used to be $1, and it's $9.99 now.
Tariffs.
So,
Well, the
You know,
Joy-Con 2 strap is $14.
yeah, I'm going to blame everything on tariffs, just like they tried to do. So,
Yeah.
like,
I
you know
mean,
what? If I get a
might as
flat
well.
tire, tariffs.
I
I
mean,
mean,
does
you
any
save money
people
if you buy the bundle because Mario Kart World Bundle puts Mario Kart at a $50 price tag.
Don't care. Not
It's,
buying it.
instead of the 80 that it is.
Nope. Because the Nintendo Switch 2 should be nowhere near that price. And people have
uh,
broken it down, myself included, that the parts and the labor is probably less than half of what this
well,
price is.
see, now that Nintendo is doing this, though, we're starting to get that first insight into actual competitiveness from the companies. Because what did Microsoft just do this week? Stealth dropped a remake for 50 fucking dollars.
Are you talking about Oblivion?
Yes. Meanwhile, over here on Nintendo, you want that remake at $70 plus another 20 for all the DLC. Well, Microsoft included it in their $50 price tag.
PC Master Race, baby.
And on top of that, on top of all that, Microsoft right now is losing the console wars because of all the failures they have repeatedly had over the past decade at this point.
Yeah.
You've had, they acquired a lot. They really did. They acquired good names and stuff, but they haven't done anything with it yet that has been worthwhile, with the exception of Oblivion here, for the most part.
Yep.
Maybe one other thing, but not enough to move the needle. What was it? That Red Dawn or something like that was a failure. Whatever
Their marketing,
Bethesda's
their
other
marketing is
title,
absolute ass.
Starfield, wasn't that great.
No.
Um, let's see. They just acquired the Blizzard Activision stuff like about a year or so ago at this point, and Blizzard's been having its own troubles. And Activision.
Yeah, it's called absolute
Um,
incompetence.
Yeah, so they've shut down studio after studio after studio because Microsoft has not been doing it. As much as I praise Microsoft for Game Pass being like the best bang for your buck, Microsoft has not been doing well. They've
Yeah.
overspent and haven't produced anything worthwhile.
And people
So
were saying that was going to happen, but
I feel like this move is just literally them to compete with the other two, because it used to be Sony and Microsoft went head to head.
yeah.
Essentially, Nintendo was there. Nintendo was in its own lane. It was not a competitor to either of them, and it made sure it was fine with that
Yeah.
because it didn't have to.
Here's the
But
thing.
now
Everybody
Nintendo is
had
wanting to compete with the big dogs.
here's the thing. Everybody had a PlayStation or an Xbox and a Nintendo product. So Nintendo was basically doing fine when they weren't trying to compete. And now that they are competing, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. Because I said this. I said this generation Switch 2 will do fine. They'll sell out. It'll be glorious for them. However, I think that when people realize there's not much going on under the hood, I think the next generation people are going to feel burned by the price. They're going to be like, that was too much for too little.
Well, I guarantee they're just going to be buying it for the first party for the most part, right? Mario
yeah.
and stuff.
Yep.
And
they have like two.
Well, isn't it that mostly you buy a console because you want the games that are exclusive to that console, or you just, have some sort of loyalty to it or something like that, or, you have games that'll play on it. If you're a Nintendo person and you like the games that come out from Nintendo that they do not share with anybody else, then I think that you'll pick up a Nintendo. And starting over and saying, "Oh well, I guess I'll just go with PlayStation or Xbox," probably isn't for you. Now, I think that PC is the master race, and that you should like come over here to the dark side where there are cookies and Steam sales.
Right.
But
Coffee.
yeah, I'm not a huge fan of coffee, but it. There are times where it just hits a spot, man. It really does.
Yeah, same here. Like there's times where I am most time coffee is not my jam, but then there's some times where I'm like, you know what, I could go for a good cup of Joe.
Yeah. I mean, I know you don't like quartering, but his coffee brand coffee is actually some high quality stuff. Like
I'll stick with 1775.
I haven't had that.
It's pretty good.
I had the Timcast stuff, and I was like, it's okay, but I noticed that with the
I want to try that. Specifically, I want to try Ethan's Graphene Dream so much.
That
low acidity
that
stuff.
I actually want to get for my husband, who has he gets like acid sometimes.
Yeah, I have horrible acid reflux. Like I'm suffering from it right now because I'm out of Prilosec or whatever it's called, and I really really want to buy some. I just never can remember to think about trying to when they have it in stock.
Do you try? Let's see. My aunt has terrible acid reflux too, to the point where she can't eat tomatoes. So
wow.
Yeah. So what she does though, she eats pan de leche, which is basically it's like a Mexican bread with milk. It's made with milk, but yeah. So I would say maybe try milk products, because that might soothe some of the acid in your stomach.
Yeah, Joe has a problem with acid too.
Yeah. I would say try if you can, try either breads or milk products, because those things kind of soak up the acid. If it's light, if you have a heavy one, like my aunt would have to sleep sitting up, it's that bad. So
I've never even thought about sleeping sitting up.
Yeah.
Maybe that.
Oh yeah, that's the thing.
Anyway.
But anyway, aside from
the
acid,
thing is that with this kind of thing, the whatever they make on it, whatever their overhead is, whether it's $2 or $375, what the market will bear is what the market will bear. And right now, Nintendo Switch 2 is sold the crap out. And the thing is that Nintendo is benefiting, and the thing is that they've decided to launch this at the best time, because the other consoles are dropping. Well, not just the consoles, but other game studios are releasing crap. Yeah. Mario is rock steady. Donkey Kong, also steady. If those games turn out to be bad, then you're going to have people getting mad and being like, the Switch 2 wasn't worth it. But if they're the only ones releasing solid, enjoyable games, and the other studios are releasing these things that ain't worth the squeeze, then I don't see people being mad about this.
The thing is, I see a lot of people who would buy it, not buying it long term because of the cost. Like, I'll be honest with you, I couldn't afford a Switch 2 right now. No way in hell.
My girlfriend's oldest son is crowdfunding it, so
what?
He's crowdfunding the price for it.
I'm sorry.
He's
enterprising fellow, but also, how is that working?
He's about to graduate, and all he asked for was money from everybody so he could pay for a Switch 2.
You know what?
That's how.
That hat is completely
by the way, guys, I'm graduating next week. Buy me shit.
Need a VTuber model for that.
Hang on a second. Let me get a. Let me steal something real quick.
All right, thievery is happening over there.
But anyway, so yeah, this is looking like some updated prices here. If anyone was curious, there you go.
It's way overpriced.
A lot. We know it's going to cost a lot. Nothing we do is going to change that at this point. And it's
I'm disappointed in all of you.
Interesting way to see. It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a dude who's in my chat on on Thursdays, 7 p.m. Eastern time. And he he dropped in. The first thing he says is, they took all my Nintendos. I couldn't buy one. And he was all sad and upset about it and everything. And I'm just like, I'm sorry. They beat you to being able to pay $450. I'm sorry, I guess. But he was legitimately like looking forward to it. So there are people who are just like, look, I just want to play these games, and this is what I like. This
And
is
I
what
can't begrudge him for it. And I'm not trying to beat down somebody who wants. But by the way, I want to. The Mario Kart looks
I do
fun,
not at that price.
but not at that price. That's
Yeah.
like
It's like me and Baldur's Gate. Like, no. But also,
Let's see.
there's this degeneracy that I just don't like. It's like, oh, you don't have to do it. I'm like, yeah, but it's there.
The problem with Nintendo is they're not known for prices ever coming down.
yeah.
Or
No.
sales for the most part, which is why it was weird to see so many things on sale outside of, well, if they're third parties, yeah. But, they're not known for that sort of thing at all, which really makes me sad.
Yeah, that's the thing is like
Because if it comes out at $449, it's probably going to be $449
forever.
for its entire life cycle, which really sucks. But I don't think the Switch 2 is really worth that much.
Yeah,
It really
that's the thing.
isn't.
Well, again, that's why I'm saying that
But
they're
there
really
are people
benefiting from.
who will. So
300, I would pay.
I think
But I mean, that's what Switch
Nintendo,
1 is costing now.
Yeah,
Nintendo pivot themselves in a way during COVID and stuff to capitalize on it, essentially, with people staying home and stuff. And they had an affordable console that everybody could play, pick up and go. They can go with them and stuff like that. With the Wii phenomenon, because Reggie talked them into adding Wii Sports in for free, right? That caused the Wii to boom exponentially, which put Nintendo on a much larger map than it ever was.
Yep.
And now they're essentially cashing into all that, years of good faith.
Yeah.
So
now here's the thing: Reggie weighed in. I'm not sure if we got that, so I don't think we do.
But I don't know if we have it or not, but he pretty much weighed in and was like, "You guys are making a mistake."
Yeah, and I agree with him.
Experience thing, the demo that's for $9, and Nintendo's just like, Nintendo doesn't give away software for free, and it's like you've done it literally multiple times, guys. But if you're going to have a demo that showcases what your thing is capable of, it should be included.
I mean, let's talk about.
And then Nintendo lately has been getting up in everybody's feels about it. It's like, but we had this team and they worked so hard, and it's like, again, I have to beat the horn. Nintendo, nobody gives a fuck. Nobody cares about your developers. Nobody cares how hard they work. Nobody cares they worked 18-hour days for 3 years straight. We just want a good product.
Yeah, they're stuck. They're stuck about maybe 4 years in the past to where that sort of empathy could be weaponized against people. Like, everybody worked so hard. Yeah, we don't care anymore. That's not.
You can blame AAA for that, by the way.
Let
me put this in the context. Yeah, okay, they worked so hard to know. Yeah, and I worked 18 hours doing my job. What's your point?
Yeah, exactly.
Now, here's the thing. About the free software, they did that since the NES. Let's talk about Super Mario Brothers combo cartridge with Duck Hunt and Track and Field. Come on now.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it's a new thing for them, but apparently they conveniently forget when they have a new console come out.
Nintendo
that's what Reggie was talking about. Is like, we need to do this, and they got really upset over it, and told him, we don't do that. And he goes, yes, you did. You did back during the Super days. I remember. I was there.
Right?
I'm sure we had a Super back then and got something with it.
The leadership at Nintendo they're great at making money, but it's going to be short. I promise you, here's my prediction. It's going to be a short-term gain, long-term loss. They're going to lose a lot of that good faith they built up because of how people are going to start seeing that greed play out, and they're going to be like,
See, that's the thing.
I'm gonna say
Nintendo's
that
always been that way, and
it's
the Nintendo fanboys, they're never going to see it. So,
so it's still going to depend on whether right now
I'm
Nintendo
not
has still
talking to fanboys.
been putting out like first party bankers, and like I said, because of the fact that the market in the other areas is so poor, you are handing drowning people cups of water. It doesn't matter that it's $450. They are drowning in a sea of crap.
Yeah.
So if we're talking about normies who don't go to Steam and look for like some, these diamond in the rough, you're willing to put up with a bunch of silly games for $4.99, $10.99, $19.99, and sometimes they're garbage, and sometimes they're fantastic, and sometimes they're like, I didn't even think this was possible. But for normals who are just like, look, I plug thing into TV, and then I hit play, I hit the button, and then it comes on TV. Those people, the Nintendo is the thing, because all of the other games, all of the big games that come out that normies actually know about and are get excited about in their normie brains, um, they're all terrible. The,
Yeah.
the games that are out. So these people are drowning. I'm not drowning. These people are in the desert of video game graveyard, and someone's handing them some water, and they're like, "It'll be $450." They're like, "That's all? Okay, save my gaming life."
yeah,
They come out with bangers. The people will be. People will swallow this cost, and the people will go, "Isn't that a lot?" And they'll go, "Yeah, but I
yeah,
like it. I'm actually
that's
having fun again."
Yeah, and
that's
that's the
pretty
thing
much
is,
where it is. So
if-
apparently, Nintendo fans flood eBay with fake Switch 2 pre-orders to drown out scalper listings. So that's the thing that's happening.
it creative. I can't blame them. This was pretty creative.
New
That's hilarious.
description: pre-order screenshot only. This listing is for a printed screenshot only. No console. Oh, you know what? I think I need to go make some listings real quick and see which ones I can get to
That
buy
is-
a $450
Piece of paper.
To me.
Here's the thing: you can't even say that it's deceptive because they tell you everywhere what you're buying.
But yeah, I thought that was hilarious. Scalping is also a problem, and it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
Man,
Which
those
ones are
disabilities.
But anyway, Power World developers challenged Nintendo's patent using examples from Zelda, Ark Survival, Tomb Raider, Titanfall, and many more huge titles. I was wondering if it was going to happen, and
Yep.
it turns out they have. So you know how when we talk about Power World versus Nintendo, and we're just like, so is Nintendo going to start going after other games for similar things, especially when you start reading these patents, like the ease of use of getting on a mounted object that you captured or some shit like that? And it's like, every MMO does that.
Yeah.
Are you going to suddenly sue Blizzard for mounting up? I mean, come on, guys. This is ridiculous. Or throwing an object into a 3D space to capture something.
Well, you
Other
know what?
games do that.
You know
It's
what's-
not just Power World or Pokemon. Other games do that.
You know what's really absurd about that is that it even got ruled in Nintendo's favor to begin with. The language is so broad that I cannot fathom the amount of bribe that judge got paid to rule in favor of Nintendo in this. And you know what, you can say, oh well, you don't know. I can't fathom any way somebody with half a brain would look at this and go, Nintendo's in the right here.
Are we talking about, are these American judges or are these Japanese judges?
No, American
Oh.
judges.
Well,
This-
I mean, I
It's
Not
a
to be
weird,
that person.
complicated thing.
well, not to be that person, but I don't think we should be like shocked at American judge corruption at this point.
Well, no, that's what
No.
I'm saying.
Considering they just like arrested one or something recently for
No!
harboring a
They arrested
illegal
two,
terrorist in their guest house. You know,
complete with selfies. Just okay.
yeah, complete with selfies and
Oh, by
everything.
the way,
Like,
oh,
yeah, I really expect the judicial branch to be the paragons of law and order at this point, guys.
No,
Anyway,
no, it gets even
oh,
better because
oh,
apparently that's just the beginning. And this is totally off topic of Power to
oh,
Tell.
let's not go too far into
Well,
it.
no,
Then.
it's just
All right.
one quick thing. Apparently, when they arrested that judge, it was reported that apparently this is just the beginning of judges that they're going to go after
Oh yeah.
for doing
Anyway,
illegal shit.
So in their rebuttals to some of this stuff, this is the games that they're listing. By the way, that Nintendo has not really gone after. Um, some of them are a bit confusing. You'll see here in a second. But we've got Craftopia, which is Pocket Pair's prior release.
Yep.
Pocket Souls, which is Demon Souls 3 mod. Ark Survival Evolved.
They did go after the
Legend of
Pokemon
Zelda,
mod.
which is Nintendo's own property.
Yeah.
They named several of the Pokemon games here.
I think they're just giving examples of games that used it, even if it's...
They are, is what they're doing. Final Fantasy XIV, which was published by Square. Tomb Raider, originally created by Core Design. Far Cry 5. Monster Super League. Pixelmon, which is a mod for Minecraft.
Yeah.
Pikmin 3. Ruin Factory 5, Titanfall 2, Path of Exile, Octopath Traveler, Dragon's Quest Builder, Nexomon, Nukamon, Monster Hunter 4G / Ultimate, Archie Age, and Raiders of Icarus. Archage.
Yeah.
Archie. Archage.
Boy, Archie was...
I extended the E.
Yeah, the E silent.
Yeah, but anyway, in addition, Pocket Pair has also pointed out that Unity Game Engine as an example of prior art, because apparently, I guess the art or something had something to do with it as well. But
still banging that drum, huh?
Okay. Ruin Factory 5, Titanfall 2, Pikmin 3 Deluxe make it easy to see how players can perform an action to release a monster or a captured item like a ball and fire it in a direction by releasing a button, which is Nintendo's patent, by the way. Pikmin 3 Deluxe, Far Cry 5, Tomb Raider already showed that there can be different types of throwable objects.
Molotovs. Grand Theft Auto.
Games like Pocket Souls, Octopath Traveler, Monster Super League, and Final Fantasy XIV already show how players can target creatures and get an idea of their chances of capturing them. Because that was also one of their patents, the ability to target a character or thing and see your percentage for capturing it or whatnot. They were big mad about it.
Yeah,
Pocket Pair argues that combining features from these games make Nintendo's patents seem less unique and innovative, which is a requirement under Japanese patent law. So apparently you can patent, the way their law requires you to be able to patent these things is to argue that they are unique and innovative.
Yeah, right? Because otherwise you could always like patent, oh, I have my character singing in a game and nobody's patented
which is why they list the Zelda games and prior Pokemon games, because they're not new games.
I just realized
they're older
something.
Games, which means it already existed for a hot minute.
This might backfire on Nintendo.
They also point out that Pokemon games have used different success rates for capturing items for over 30 years, making the idea far from new. Hey, it's old hat now, right? Which is why they're listing Nintendo's own games in this thing, is saying, look, you want to throw this patent at us and sue us over it because you think you've got like some innovative thing. You've been using it for 30 fucking years, guys. It ain't new.
I just realized something. Nintendo might be in trouble here, not just because, their pads I expect to get thrown out. But if that's the requirement in Japan, what happens if they go, hey, your game is not new, like your franchise is not new, and your characters are not new, and they're not innovative, and blah, 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 blah.
I think it has to be new and innovative to the person who's suing. So, like, if I made this game, but I made it 30 years ago, and then somebody and then I keep making games in this series, but it's using a unique mechanic to this game, then I could say, hey, you can't use this mechanic, but it has to be something that's not used by other games, you
Yeah.
know? So it has to be just, it doesn't have to be like unique as in it's never been used before. It just can't have been used before by other people. It's not something that's common. Like I said, like with singing in games. You can't say, oh, well, we sing in games. Like, no. Everybody does that. This is not new.
Yeah. But yeah. No, it made me made me happy deep inside.
Yeah, I'm just happy that it's actually getting brought up, especially as a defense. So
I
don't know how
really,
it really holds up in Japanese court. So, but we'll find out, I guess.
Nihon.
But
Yeah,
it is
I remember
nice to see
somebody
them
referring to
finally firing back, and how they're firing back, because for us over here in the Americas looking at this stuff, it's like ridiculous. It's like, really, guys? It really does feel like they're just pissed off that they did something that is something normally they would do, and they did it fairly successfully compared to other things. So
Yeah, and it just comes off as like they're just pissed off about it.
yeah, but anyway, Discord wants your face.
No.
Oh.
Yeah, they want your face.
Yeah,
so
trust me,
verify your age.
I've got the notification.
That's an easy way to verify one's age.
Right.
Is Discord being ableist here?
I think they're being ageist.
No, just, or maybe age. I don't know, because
Both,
you've got people
technically. You got
who
people that
look
look young.
younger than they actually are. Like, I suffer from that too. If I was to shave my face, I instantly look 10 years younger. And I've always done that. Apparently, I've always had that problem for a while. But don't look at me like that, Chad. It's true.
No, I believe you, because if I shave mine, I got the ass chin and I look like a fat.
We live at an age where sometimes it's hard to tell somebody's age, because a lot of people look older than they actually do, while others look younger than they actually do. Hell, millennials themselves look younger on average than their counterparts from like Gen X.
Apparently, I missed that boat.
So, I mean, you can go look at like the cast of some of our, those old shows, and they're slightly younger than we are currently now, right?
Yeah,
but they look older than we do. I just
No, I was saying, making a joke, but no, you're right. This will not end well, and I'll be frank. Over my dead body, I will pack up
we'll have
shop.
to find something else.
I mean, to be fair, I don't use Discord for like anything except finding out if we're streaming, and that's it.
So, yeah, I'll tell you this. I will set up a TeamSpeak server. I will look into Revolt. There's half a dozen things I can look into.
They're really, I think they're really counting on people being lazy, though.
For sure.
Just kind of like with the whole Steam thing, where I can't uninstall this game without Steam doing it for me, basically. I'm like,
yeah. And I'll tell you this too. Their reasoning, bullshit. This is not to verify age. I call absolute bullshit.
No, it probably isn't. It's probably to collect data.
Yeah,
so they're pulling a page from China.
Yep.
But anyway, so Discord's doing that. And apparently Chipotle Mexican Grill are set to open the first store in Mexico next year.
It just made me laugh.
That's just funny.
Really?
Yeah. Well, here's
Mexican
the thing.
Grill goes to Mexico on next Geraldo.
A while back, I remember hearing that Mexico blocked Chipotle from coming to Mexico because they were offended that they claimed to be a Mexican grill when they were not.
Well, see, here's the thing. I guarantee it's going to be a different experience altogether.
Mm-hmm.
Different food. Because if anything I have learned from the internet and the fact that fast food is international,
yep,
is they get different things in different countries.
Yeah, I think
Like,
in
and on top of that,
Japan,
their fast food is way healthier than our fast food because it doesn't have our FDA allowing poisons and shit to be in it. Essentially,
Federal Death Association, yeah.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because like you got like McDonald's in Japan that is big for their seafood and their I think it's like chicken, but not like the chicken nuggets. It's like the buckets of chicken, kind of like how KFC
I mean,
does.
heck, I had gotten into a spat at one point with somebody about all this stuff, and I was like, "Look, I'm sorry, I don't care if the FDA gets wiped off the map. Personally, I would rather
Same.
it be replaced with something that's not the FDA, that regulates itself more like Europe does or something, right? But if all I get is the FDA gets kicked in the teeth, then so be it. I'll take it for now. But I was trying to explain to him, the FDA lets things like tartrazine be in our food, and that's not a good thing to have in your food.
Yeah,
And
and they
he didn't know
also
what that was, and it's like, this is yellow 5. It was
yeah.
made from cartol. It was a byproduct from industrial waste that they use to color our food with, and now they synthesize it with plastics, petroleum
Oh,
products now,
wait.
which
Hang
is
on,
still not any better.
I got something to share with you,
Yeah,
Theo.
so when you're taking, but the FDA is just like, well, a small trace of it is okay to consume. So anything with yellow 5 in it has this shit in it, and it's not good for the body to consume year after year after year.
That picture was from a Three Musketeers bar.
What picture?
It's
Oh,
in the
this
group.
picture.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
from a
okay.
Three Musketeers bar. Contains
Engineered.
bioengineered food ingredients. What the fuck does that mean? I put that back. I was like, nope,
Oh.
nope. I waited till lunch.
But
I bought my
anyway,
own
like,
lunch. Hell no.
I don't really like a whole lot of the world's way they handle things or whatnot, but to be totally honest, the way they handle their food safety, I'm
Yeah.
on board with a lot of those. So when it comes to
What
Europe, I may not be too happy about some of their other stuff, but the way they handle their food safety, I'm okay with
they
poaching that stuff.
they also need to tell those those seed sellers that literally did a patent on their seeds to fuck all the way off.
But yeah, so I showed the guy what it was and what was actually in it, and then he fucked off right after that promptly, and it was like, yeah, I mean,
Well, honestly, maybe
our
he's like,
our,
oh
our
shit.
our agency isn't perfect by any means, but it could be way better if they wanted to. However, they do a lot of things to help out with various other things too, like helping the industrial groups get rid of their industrial waste by putting it into our food through
You know,
scrupulous
I
means.
think I'm a little bit more okay with them dumping it into the ocean than I am in then putting it in our food supply. That
Yes.
may be a hot take, but you know.
Well, big shocker. There's actually ways to deal with industrial waste now that literally break it down.
But
Like,
it didn't exist either back then when they
yeah,
did make these rulings and stuff and these things. So I'm like totally fine with wiping it off. But yeah, I'm sure whatever they produce over in Mexico is going to be like a better product than what
oh
we get
yeah,
here in the States.
yeah.
By far.
Joe wants to take a. I kid you not. Joe did a missionary trip years back in New Mexico to help this orphanage like paint their buildings and stuff, and she was there for like a week. And she's like, "We need to go back there just for the food." She said like the cheapest restaurant was like 5-star compared to here.
Hmm.
Yeah, I have to say, I really do enjoy eating in Mexico when I'm down there.
Yep.
So,
By the way, I will. Me and Joe will not be eating Chipotle anymore because she got food poisoning.
not
I
surprised. I still want to try Chipotle one of these days. So,
It's
it's
hotheads
very
is better.
okay. It is. I
It
mean,
used to be better. It used to be way better.
Listen,
Well,
there's several fast food
again, I
places that
live
I
in
want to try that we don't have access to here.
yeah, I'm like I live in California. I am not spoiled for good authentic Mexican food. Like at least a third of our population is like fresh off the well, I wouldn't say boat, I guess the desert. So, I
Fresh
mean,
off the wall.
yeah, exactly. But no, there is no wall. We are wall free, So,
Yeah.
um but yeah, so I mean, for my standards, Chipotle is okay. It's a little overpriced, but I mean, see, Taco Bell is different. But
Yeah,
that's because it's not
Yeah.
really Mexican food. It's just not. It's like
No.
it's Mexican food, like I don't know, Panda
There's just too
Express
much
is Chinese.
competition. Like if you're not offering something special, the locals are going to bury you. There's actually a restaurant, and I'm not going to name it because if I name it, people will know my exact address. But there's a actual authentic Mexican restaurant just down the street from me that me and Joe are going to try here in the near future. But yeah, it's actually ran by a family, so it's like family owned operated. So
all right. Well, apparently half the internet traffic is now automated. Dead
I will.
internet theory continues to win bit by bit.
Feels good being so right.
Does it though? I'd be sad about this.
No, it is horribly depressing. But
But
is it really sad? Because does that mean that maybe more people are touching grass?
um
I don't know.
I
I
don't.
don't
I
think
see.
they
The thing is that
are.
that doesn't necessarily mean that there were fewer people on the internet. That just means that the traffic of actual humans is
There's like one bot for every human.
yeah. I mean, that doesn't mean that
That's a
there are
good
fewer
point.
humans. It just means that there are more bots. I mean, that could mean
Yeah.
what it is. It could mean more people are touching grass. That is very, very summer childy of you. But
Right?
I think that it just means that there are more bots and they are multiplying and starting to
Bless
overrun
your
the
heart.
humans.
But
Just in
there's
time, by the way. Just as an aside, you know that what is it? Britain? They're talking about trying to blot out the sun.
Yeah, I heard about that too, and I was like,
And I'm like, I'm
that's a
sorry, I
bad
didn't realize.
idea.
I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't realize you got so much sun in
right.
England. I mean,
And
you
let
guys
me
aren't
point
really
this
known
out.
for your
Yeah, never
balmy
mind the
sunny
fact that
days.
if you actually block the sun, the millions, if not billions, of people who would die as a result.
Well, they're just talking about dimming it a little bit, like we're so good at
I mean, you're
controlling the
still
weather.
going to kill a lot of people.
No.
See, the thing is,
Dumbasses. This is how
the problem,
Matrix started.
I know, right? I'm like, nobody saw that movie and took it seriously. Come on, like,
this is the problem with that. It's like when you start messing with nature, you run the risk of fucking up nature, and
Right?
we don't
nature's in a
understand.
balance.
We don't
If the
understand enough
sun
about these things to do this.
if the sun warms up, nature balances out and does its thing. We
What?
can continue to grow stuff, but if you start suddenly dimming the sun and the global temperatures drop by like 5 degrees or something, that could
That's
be the difference between
catastrophic.
crops growing and not growing. You know?
Yeah.
It's just a bad idea, guys.
Yeah.
Let's see. The Discord CEO. I feel like this should have been a couple over, wasn't it? I meant to bring it down, I guess. Anyway, a step down from amid IPO discussions. Discord's new CEO, Human. Somebody
Yep.
say that last name.
No, human.
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 Saknini?
Wait, is the guy's name Human? Like human?
Yeah.
Like,
That's
is that
Humam.
a real thing? Am I reading that right? Anyway, was the president of
I'm not
Kitty,
convinced this is not an alien.
chairman of Activision Blizzard. Really? Human.
Human.
Don't worry, guys. It's a real guy. Trust me. It's not AI. This is Human Sakanini. Anyway.
Oh, this guy got picked on at school.
Human. No, he's probably from another country somewhere.
Yeah, I know.
Probably
I stand
more
by what I said.
anyway. So yeah, that's a thing. That
Well,
would also possibly explain the face recognition.
oh yeah, no,
stuff.
100%. This is solely because of that, because of him.
So anyway, there's a new Predator movie out.
Eh.
I'm
And I
sorry
ran
to all the
across
fans of
this, and I don't
Predator.
really want to spend a whole lot of time talking about how horrible it looks because it just doesn't feel like Predator anymore. It's just like a generic action flick with a Predator in it.
Yeah.
Um, but I happened to come over or saw this, and it's like new Predator movie teases alien connection. And I
No
have to
shit.
ask the panel, has anybody ever seen the Alien movies or the Predator movies?
Yes,
Back
and
in
then
the
we
day?
also saw Alien versus Predator.
Oh, yeah, I was getting there. It wasn't there like a movie called like Alien vs Predator where there was a striking alien connection to the Predator universe there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like was that ever a thing back in the day, guys? Have we reached the point where people don't know this now, lore?
Are the people that make movies just sitting around eating paint chips all day?
Yes.
Yeah, they have to be at this point. I mean, granted, the movie looks good, like the effects to it, but other than that, I just happened to saw that caption right there and looked at it sideways, like, you do know Alien vs Predator was an actual movie that was done where we don't need an alien connection. We already know
We have
they're in
it.
the same universe, for fuck's sake. Like, anyway, it drove me nuts for a second, so I thought I would share with everybody.
Jeez, you know, I hate to say this. You might like it. To me, it looks like a video game.
I didn't say it looked good. I said the graphics looked good. There's a difference.
Well, not
Yeah,
the
I
Predator.
disagree.
Other than that, it looks like a generic action flick with a predator in it.
Well,
Yeah.
it
That's the
looks like a sci-fi action
main
flick.
story thing. On top of that, watching the entire thing, I didn't even see anything that remotely looked like an alien connection to begin
They
with.
showed an
I don't
egg.
know what they're talking about unless I missed it in the split second of something.
Yeah, they showed an egg that had spikes starting to protrude from it.
Oh, okay.
But
that
that
must
was-
have been it. It was the alien egg.
That's about it. I honestly, here's the thing: I'm not a huge fan of either franchise,
Me neither.
but like,
I liked it.
There
Oh,
it
there
goes.
it is. Anyway, I liked it until they
That looks like a
decided
plant, though, because you
fuck
can see them in
into
the
it or
distance.
something.
Sure.
Yeah, those are plants.
Yeah, those are plants.
Okay, never mind.
But anyway,
But the thing is that, so like the first Predator movie was basically a horror movie, and
Yeah.
the Predator had this mystique because he was a hunter and you're being hunted, and that's really where the connection for the humans is. Because when you're watching a movie, you try to connect with something on the screen, which is why I'm so against movies that are starring very, very bad people as the lead. Anyway.
They don't do subtlety anymore. I tell you, that's a lost
No,
start
no.
at this point.
Well, so my thing is, for this, it looks like the thing that you're supposed to be, as the human, you're supposed to be connecting with is the predator, though.
yeah.
And that's like against what Predator is. You're not
Yeah.
really supposed to be on Predator's side. You're not supposed to like feel what he feels. But the thing is that they've changed the look on the Predator so much from the original one. Whereas the eyes were further apart, they were closer to the mouth, but now it looks more humanoid. And
And
the
I hate
threads
that.
are like, instead of coming out of the side of the head and from the back, they're coming out from the top and the center, kind of like a human dread sort of thing. So they're doing that to make it look more human. And when that big thing comes out, and it this part right here, and it
Yeah.
stares at it, it has this moment where the predator's kind of looking at it before it does that scream or yell or whatever the heck.
Yeah.
And you can kind of see emotions. You can actually feel emotions happening across his face. And I'm not supposed to understand emotions from a freaking predator because it's alien. It's supposed to be so very alien that I don't understand its emotions, the way it thinks, the way all
It
of
should
this
be
stuff should be weird.
spooky. It should be terrifying.
Yeah.
It should be
Not-
hunting Arnold Schwarzenegger in the jungle right now. That's what it
Right?
should be doing. But
You got it.
anyway. So let's
What?
start getting into the Oblivion fun.
What? What is that?
That's Oblivion.
Is that supposed to be evil? Like, why is it talking?
Okay. So they took the creation engine, which Oblivion was made in,
Yep.
and they left it in the game, but then they took Unreal and recreated everything.
Yep.
So now it has, in a weird way, it has given this weird uncanny valley to a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
which is kind of weird,
But
but
see,
it's still a great game.
yeah, and
That's
also,
not uncanny. That's just wrong.
but also,
some of them do
Don't
look
make
a
it
little
bigger.
weird.
but also keep in mind that honestly, the original was pretty damn uncanny too.
Well,
Is this
I mean,
thing supposed to
the
look like this?
original didn't
Yes.
exactly look pretty or anything.
No,
To begin
did not.
with, when it came to character models and stuff, because we're talking about like back 360 days, Xbox 360.
Yep.
But for its time, it was good. It's like Final Fantasy VII on the PlayStation. You look at it now; it's clearly dated. Everything's blocky and stuff. But for its time, it was one of the pinnacle things.
And I will tell you this: this had the best DLC out of any.
Yeah, and unlike Nintendo, it's included. So, but they left, the charm of Oblivion in Oblivion.
I'm so happy.
I heard that thieves broke into the Arcane University, the Imperial Legion compound, and the temple all on the same night. Wait a minute, let me do that one again. I heard that thieves broke into the Arcane University, the Imperial Legion.
So in the original game, whoever was putting the voices and stuff into everything accidentally put the line and then the redone line and everything in between.
Yep. I love it. That made me so happy.
That is in the original game.
That was the one thing I said, that if they do that, I will buy this game because I loved that back in the day.
But yeah, for a remaster, who was it? Voltor or something? Studio starts with a V. They did an excellent job.
Yeah.
I'm very surprised at
Joe is so sad because her computer can't run it, but she's tried.
An attempt was made.
Oblivion
So the
Remastered
thing is,
is
I don't
cool.
know anything about this game, but I mean the eyes
missed out.
are just. I mean, it looks like something that you'd see in your nightmares. Like, to have it just sitting there talking like it's all normal and everything. I'm like, no, we need to discuss why you're a spawn of Satan first. Like, that's what I need to get off.
Do we have the Oblivion original and remake video?
I do not. I didn't post that one.
Yeah, so maybe this is just me not knowing that they all look like demons.
It's you not knowing, because this game was very old. And
well, no, it's not the oldness. Actually, it's the design. The design where
that's what I'm saying.
That much black around the eyes, where the eyebrows arch in that very specific way, the eyes are tilted in that very odd way. Like the bottom half of the face is fine. It's the upper, the eyes and the eyebrows.
Yeah, this was essentially, when it was first came out, was their attempt at making more
emotional.
No, not emotional. It's emoting. Have the NPCs emote more when they're talking.
Emotional damage. So
by first taking a look at our character model.
All right, but yeah, we're I'm trying to get where we can see the original and you got the classic and then the remaster on the right side.
Yeah, so
how things looked. So
okay, so stop, pause that, go back. And that's a bulbous face. Nope. After this. Okay. Dude, look at how sharp that is. Like, that looks like a demon. I mean, not to be sounding like Melanie Mac, but come on, man.
Well, it looks better in the remaster, so
yeah.
On the right hand side, I'm sorry, it's so
it's
so
a wood elf.
arched.
It's supposed to be. Supposed to be sharp. They're elves. That's a wood elf.
Yeah, but it's so sharp. It looks the evil. I'm
Well, the
just saying.
left side is really sharp. The right side is softened. So
No, disagree.
yes,
The left side
it,
is softened. Everything
I
is.
mean, look
I
at
mean,
how
the
sharp
ears are
this is
sharper.
compared to this.
The ears are sharper, but everything else isn't. The cheeks are not as sharp. The jawline is very,
Yeah,
very round.
bone structure in there now, where
Well,
you don't
yeah,
really
I'll
have
say
that.
this. I'm 100% with the remaster on this because of one thing. And here's the thing. I know this. Meg doesn't. But every character in original Oblivion was similar in facial structure.
Yeah. Well, no,
So,
I'm noticing that everybody has this really gigantic fat nose.
Wow, orcs still look bad. Anyway,
well, they're not supposed to look handsome, Zio.
I know the Argonians though look freaking awesome.
The
Apparently, people
Argonian.
were
That looks good.
hating the Argonians
Dude,
now.
I love that they look like dinosaurs. That's
And they look
badass.
freaking amazing in the
Right?
remaster, if you ask me.
That
Yeah,
that looks very good.
And wait till you get to the Khajiits. The Khajiits look really good too. Not as
yeah,
good as
that
the
was another
Argonians.
thing I heard people was complaining about was like the Argonian Khajiits, and they don't are complaining about how they look. And every time I've seen them, I'm just like, they look fucking amazing. What are you people smoking? We're
Yeah, they
just
did.
gonna stay on the Emperor for like 5 minutes, or are we gonna look at something else?
Yeah, all the noses were so interesting. Like everybody had the same nose.
But
This guy
yeah,
this guy
he is
basically had like the
wrinkly
Joe
now.
Biden forehead.
That
You
is
know, like
so
the rest
good
of his face
looking.
is super, super wrinkly, but like his forehead is way baby smooth. It's weird.
Yeah. So my kid has discovered Oblivion
Oh, is that
and was telling me about it. He's like, "Dad, there's this new game. We have to get it." Yeah, and it doesn't cost that much. And I was like, "How much does it cost?" Because it's $50, and it's not the a full price of a game, but I think you're gonna like it. It's really good. It's kind of like that Skyrim you were letting me play, and I was like, "Oh, really? Tell me more."
So you just led your child on.
And he goes, and we finally get through all this, and we're driving home while he's doing this and stuff. And I'm like, Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, son. And he goes, yeah, that's it. So you've seen it too? It's like, I played that 20 years ago, but I understand because I want it too. So you're going to get it? Not right now. I'm kind of broke, and we need money tomorrow for our trip.
Yeah. No, that's like
But when
I'm
we
waiting.
get back,
I'm waiting till May,
we
and I'm going
might.
to buy it.
so cute? Oh,
But
it's
yeah,
nice when you let them
he's
have
like,
things.
yeah, I've looked up all this stuff on it and everything. I know all about it. I was like, I'm sure you do, but I
Like, oh,
guarantee
you
I know more.
Oh, I can't wait to get to the Shivering Isles.
do?
Oh, that cheap model does look really damn good.
Right?
I don't know what these people were smoking, complaining about it.
Yeah, so those look better. I mean, again, they really have this thing where
Here's the
they're really pulling
environment.
the eyes
Now,
in
the
the corner.
environment. Oh, sorry. What were you saying?
I was saying they have this thing where they're really aggressively pulling the eyes up in the corners in a way
Well,
that's it's very uncomfortable.
that's just the elves, and they're meant to look like that.
Well,
They're
it's
meant to
not just
be.
that; it was the lion too. But I'm like, okay, it makes more sense for a lion because you're not putting a little bit of humanity onto it. The elves
Well,
just they I'm
Trust me, the
sorry.
elves aren't. The elves
well.
aren't
Anyway,
people.
the other one of the other criticisms besides the they them thing was the environment, and I have to agree with them on this
I
one.
agree.
Is for some reason they made it look washed out like a Fallout game.
Yeah, the light they use some sort of tinting that does
And
like. There's a mod to fix it though.
I mean, everything looks way better. It's just the tint that everything seems to
Yeah,
have,
so everything
where
is
it feels
yellower
more
because it's
washed
supposed to be
out.
in the sunlight, as opposed to so it's in the sunlight, but it's like in the sunlight in California, where like in a desert where it's yellower out here. But if you go to like I want to say England or something like that, or in Europe, everything's a little bit blue because it's always slightly overcast. And I think they didn't necessarily take that into account. Isn't it supposed to be based on like European lore? I mean, it looks like the styles and the
Well, no,
armor and everything look kind of
the
European.
original was very saturated, very bright, and I think they tried to dial that down. but in doing so, they just kind of tinted everything.
Yeah, see, in the original, everything was definitely bright and stuff. But there's a mod out there that does it for you now, so.
Yeah. And
One
I'll
that
probably
Nexus
get
didn't
that.
touch, I'm sure.
Yeah. No. Well, we'll get to that.
Yeah, no, everything is warmer. You just like you just add some blue to it.
Yeah, it's warmer. Where in the classic one it was more vibrant and less warm.
Well, also the shadows are way stronger, so it's kind of like full on daylight as opposed to like slightly cloudy.
Yeah.
So like when you go outside and it's slightly cloudy, the shadows are not that strong. They're kind of fuzzy. When you go outside and the sun is strong and at its zenith, especially like out here in the desert, you have these very sharp ray trace shadows everywhere all the time. You know, there ain't no fuzz going on. So the one on the left looks like more like a European countryside, whereas the one on the right looks like something that you'd see in a desert in,
Yeah, see, that's the point. It's supposed to be a European countryside.
Yeah, that was what my point was. Like that's why it's so yellowish reddish, because it's supposed to be out here, but they just didn't take into account what English countrysides look like. Not that I've been to Europe, but I've seen the pictures and the countryscapes and everything.
Yeah.
The video.
Never been to Europe? How dare you?
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to get arrested.
I don't think any of my people come from there, so.
But that looks freaking awesome.
Although
the
now,
Oblivion
I guess.
gates.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's continue. What was actually?
This is
what was this?
Trailer.
The fuck?
Hey, come on now.
What?
There's no need to get help. Help! I'm being attacked by a God, stop! You violated the law.
You violated the law.
Funds to pay the court. You must now serve your sentence. Your stolen goods are now forfeit.
People have done drawings of this now. This is the new "Stop! You violated the law" meme.
The fuck?
Right. Stop! You have violated the law.
There's no need to get help. Help! I'm being attacked by a God, stop! You violated
the law.
That was.
You wake up and you see everyone staring at you like
go
this.
back.
You're going to jail.
Scroll down and see if people have posted the.
You violated the law. I go to jail. Horse faces are everywhere.
I love it. Okay, that's all I want to say.
That's great.
I don't know. When he starts yelling "help," though, it just reminds me of what is it? That British peasant in Monty Python. He's like, help! I'm being oppressed. Yes.
So what is this? Is this just the trailer?
I was born 87 years ago.
That music.
But for all these years, I've never been the ruler of my own dreams. This is the 27th of last seed. The year of Akatosh 433.
It's just great.
These are the closing days of the third era and the final hours of my life. My life.
Why are you
That's
going?
the horse armor. You know the very first microtransaction that put us in this microtransaction hell?
Yep, you're looking at it.
That's it. That's it right there. That's the fucking horse armor. And the fact that they put it in the trailer. It's
the beginning
like
of all things evil.
a member berry. That's just fucking great.
They're like, hey, guess what? It's back.
I couldn't help myself the second I realized that.
I have seen the gates of Oblivion,
my gosh,
beyond which no waking eye may see.
But this is what they need to do more of, is faithful recreation.
This is only the beginning. Worse is yet to come. Looks clear.
And this is the game that put Elder Scrolls in the map for a lot of people.
time of cleansing draws nigh.
Who now will save us from the coming darkness?
I can tell you, it ain't Dragonborn.
Yeah.
Here you must find.
Honey, I need $50.
Hey, I got a crowdfund starting up.
Come on, guys. I need some money. Help me out.
Oh, pause it. No, don't. You don't got to go back. Just pause it. What the hell? Damn. I'm about to become the biggest of hippies.
Listen. I know
I'm
there's
about
a
to
lot
really
of guys
love
out
Mother
there who
Nature.
are like, hear me out. Only one. Right now.
No, by the way, I think there's a environmental story told pertaining to a fire friggin' and a potion of resist flame.
Find him
Okay.
and close shut the jaws of Oblivion.
Sorry, I happen to have noticed that one little feature is like, you know, somebody out there. It's like, so hear me out, man. But there is also a digital deluxe. If anybody wants that stuff, I'd say wait, just go get a mod. You'd be all right. But people are going to do what they are. And quite frankly, if you're going to pay with your wallet, you should absolutely, support the good stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of people are when they pay with their wallet, they're all about the I'm not buying that because of this.
Yeah,
but there's two sides to that.
Complaining about that too, right? And they're like, oh, you hate Bethesda and blah blah blah. Why are you giving them money? You're just contributing because they made something good, and they need to know this is the way, Western man. This is the fucking way. So
That's why, I will support the AAA studios if they do good, and I will slap them on the hand if they do bad.
Yeah, and Oblivion Remaster is already being called one of the best remasters ever by players, and from what I've seen so far, I completely believe that.
So. Except for those elves that give nightmares, but yeah, I mean that looks like an actual upgrade. I will say that I do prefer the slightly less aggressively ray traced shadows. They should be a little bit softer, and the palette should be a little bit bluer, just because of where it is. But yeah, those models are all. I mean, the models in the original were all very much the same, like 2 or 3 heads. That nose was hilarious every time. I was like, "Hey, there goes that beak again." But yeah, it looks pretty good, and I think that anytime that a studio does something that you like, you should reward it. I think that I think that's kind of why I'm not necessarily all for I'm never gonna use this company again or something like that. I mean, unless they've done something that's absolutely egregious and they need to apologize for it. But when they do good things, I think that they should be rewarded, because otherwise, well, they have no incentive to do anything for us. If you reward the good behavior, then they'll keep doing good stuff.
But
see,
they want your dollar.
This is like part of the crux of the whole remaster argument. It's like this is what you want.
Yeah.
When you get a remaster, you want something with updated graphics.
Okay, so this person's
better. It refines, the systems.
No, this
Maybe
person
it
is
fixes
dumb.
some things.
That's all that is. This is a dumb human being.
Yeah. It's like, this thing is made in Unreal 5, so it's going to be heavy on the hard drive, that's for sure.
Now, I will say that we have gotten away from
this to that
optimization. Yeah, I mean, this is, like I said, this is someone who's dumb, and when I'm saying that, I mean, we'll just say ignorant. It's like, I work with 3D models. If you're going to get this level of detail, you are going to get a larger file. You have to, every single extra nook or cranny is extra data that has to go in there. There are things that I have built that have actually crashed my machine opening them again. So,
by the way, I do got something that kind of I think Meg would like, given her disdain for the way the elves look.
I don't think I will. That's not the kind of guy that Chad is. He doesn't give me things for my happiness. Ugh, sad face is sad. To be fair, though, that is actually true.
I thought that'd make you laugh.
That is how the women's look now. It's depressing. You know what? I'm now going to keep thinking of that when I see it.
By the way, the original of that meme is in the memes in the Discord. So if you want to see like the original, it's in there.
No, that one works. That works perfectly.
I made that when I saw.
Okay, there we go. Alright, so in just 3 hours, Oblivion Remasters demolished both Dragon Age and Veilguard and Assassin's Creed. Did it really?
On a weekday.
On a weekday.
On a weekday, too.
That is fantastic. They put in a lot of extra work. Now, I will say that I do think that a lot of studios have gotten lazy when it comes to optimization. It's just something that happens when you're making bigger and bigger things.
The optimization.
You start having these kits that have way more extraneous information in there because unless you want to make it individually, it's kind of like when we were. So I don't know if you guys ever built websites back in the day, but
Tinkered.
But yeah, I did. So like if you made one with HTML, it was very clean. It was very tight. If you had extraneous lines, you delete those things.
Yep.
But then they started getting something like Dreamweaver, and when you
gosh,
yeah,
anyway,
this is a blast from the past. We are old, y'all. But the thing is that you could do the same things. You could do it way faster. But if you
was bulkier.
Code, you had so much extraneous information there. It was ridiculous. It was crazy.
Yep.
And I'm of the impression that we're getting the same thing when it comes to a lot of these video games, which is why they're so honking.
Took out my camera.
Yeah, when I was in high school, that was pretty much that was a class is to learn HTML and Dreamweaver.
Yeah. And you notice the difference though, like, right? Because the size, just with the text of the HTML files for Dreamweaver would be so much larger. The size would just wind up being like 2, 3, 4 times the size.
Yeah, HTML I liked way better because you had way more control too. Dreamweaver was.
Yeah, we're coming up on. Okay. You guys still talking HTML and Dreamweaver?
No. Going on. Moving on.
We're just talking about. So the point of it is basically when you're dealing with something that's huge and you're trying to get something done faster rather than doing the bare bones from the ground up sort of thing, you actually do start losing out on optimization. And I think that's why we're getting games that are so heavy.
Yeah, and optimization is definitely a real problem, but
I think
that requires a whole discussion on its own.
Yeah.
So,
and they're just like get more computers. Hardware's getting better. You can keep up, and I'm
it's not keeping up. But anyway, we need to move on.
We have topped out at 190,000, and we're just now starting to hit the weekend. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah. I mean, it did 182 practically.
And this is with no advertising.
No advertising. Shadow dropped. It's like, hey, here's a new trailer. Oh, by the way, it's available today. And it's like, I'm sorry, what? What?
When I saw that date, on that image, I was like, oh, they're dropping a trailer on that day. Cool. I was getting to say, oh, it's the game.
They dropped the trailer, and everybody's first initial reaction is like, "Egets, the rumors are real. They're actually working on it. The
legends are true.
I can't wait. That's going to be great. When is it? Wait, now? What you mean? I can go? Wait, what?
Now?
It's now? Boss, I got to go home early.
Right? Boss is like, what are you talking about? I'm leaving.
Like, boss, look at this. You know what? I think I got to leave early too. Let's go ahead and leave at lunch. And but anyway, so yeah, I mean that seems to be what happened. Let's see. If Bethesda switches back to the original Oblivion, male female in a patch, they would see huge boosts in sales. Anyway, yeah.
I
So
don't.
this is also a thing. Body
Yeah, I don't
type
think
one
it
and
would
two.
make much of a
Um,
difference, but I think it would
I,
boost their sales.
it's annoying. It is.
yeah,
I mean, it's
it's
just
really annoying, especially when some of the quests in the game are determined to play out depending on if you pick male or female.
Yep.
That is
And
a
this is the
legit
only.
thing. And that's the problem when you take a past game and put modern day isms in there, is
Yep.
if that game actually did have something that required you to pick male or female, it now gets all screwed up for you as the player because you don't know.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
well,
Um,
it's just
and the Fallout series is going to have a problem with this because they have like their Black Widow or whatever perks or something. If they ever decide to go body type 1 or 2, because like some of those perks are only if you're a woman
Yep.
in the game that this perk is available to you, like Lady Killer or whatever it's called.
Yep. That was only
You
available to
know, you
men.
have to play as a female to get access to that perk. But if female is
it's
not an
something only
option,
girls get.
you know,
Yeah. But honestly, I could see them patching that.
They should. The body type 1-2 thing is just. I mean, it's not.
Well, the funny thing is, it's an afterthought too, because nothing else in the game was changed regarding this. Just that
yeah.
part.
Well, it's not an ist or phobic of any kind to acknowledge that there are two sexes. Now I don't cotton to the idea that I don't even know what gender means anymore. Honestly, I don't know what that means. I just don't. But let's say that they're like 792. Cool, but there are only two sexes. Like, why is this controversial? Like, body type. It's not talking about your gender type or your feeling type or any of that stuff. Literally body. Like, there are two body types. Like, I mean, they only have two
Well,
there.
if anything, you could have multiple body types in a character creator, but that should be like the difference between whether you're fat or not. You know, you're big and bulky. Like, what is it? I think Baldur's Gate 3 has like 4 body types, I think. And it's one is normal male, normal female, and then bulky male, and then bulky female.
Why don't they
Like,
have like scrawny or shit?
but it's body type 1, body type 2, body type 3, body type 4. And because they're having to deal with that body type nonsense, it really kind of muddies things up a little bit in the character creator, because you're looking at it and you're like, okay, so what's the difference? Because when you start adding more, you know, body weight to the model, it starts to, you kind of start to not be able to tell one from the other.
Yeah.
Unless you strip them down to nothing and can find out which one might get censored in the tits or something.
Wasn't that a story that someone had where it came to? Oh gosh, was it with
Yeah,
Monster Hunter Wilds?
Yeah,
Monster Hunter Wilds. Yeah, that's what I was talking about, I think, a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it was to a point, and then I forgot where I was going with it, and then it just sort of petered out from that.
But it was mostly just that this guy picked female when he was trying to pick male, or the other way around.
Yeah.
And,
because you couldn't tell because it didn't say.
People were upset about, or there were people essentially making fun of the guy and stuff and saying, it's like, how could you not tell? It's obvious and all this other stuff. And it's like, you clearly never played the game. When you choose your initial setup, unless you dive into the character creator, if you're just picking type 1 or type 2, the only difference between the two for the most part is the hood on the armor.
Yeah.
Now, if you're looking at more in-game armor or different other armor stuff, there's clear differences between the male and female armors, mostly. Not all of them, or some of them not so much, but most of them, there's clear differences, and you can tell the difference, where, you get more midriff in the female variant, while the male variant is really
then you got Power World, where the man has
covers
midriff.
everything. But in that default armor, the only difference is hood up and hood down. So if you're looking at that and go, I like hood down, you just picked a female and didn't even realize it until you get into the game and everybody starts referring to you as she.
Lol. That's
With
fantastic.
that's a problem. I can see body types if it was body type 1 and 2 and one is skinny and one is bulky or something. That makes sense.
Yeah,
But
you
even
know, I
Body
then,
think
type
that
for sex, not so much.
I
yeah,
find that actually
It's
to
just
be
annoying.
less irritating if you're gonna go with like more than 2 body types. If you're gonna go with like 12 or something like that, where you have differences in weight and height and structural differences, because then we're literally talking about body types.
Yeah.
But I mean, when they say body type in this, you're literally just talking about sex.
yep.
Yeah, because
That's all you're talking about.
because with the character creator, you can make yourself fat or skinny.
Yeah.
So, it's irrelevant in a game like this.
Well,
But anyway,
I think that would probably be a interesting thing to do, but like further down the line, because like if you played Vilgard, there were some characters, if you made them too big in certain areas, you'd get clipping, and that's why certain areas weren't allowed to be very big, like the like if you're trying to make a gal who's got the Betty Boop frame going on there, you could not to do it. I mean, I don't think the cup size could get larger than like an A plus, and the bum size was like maybe I walk every other Tuesday. So, and that's with the sliders like all the way up. So so if you wanted to have that where you didn't have clipping issues, you would change the body type so that way you have a different model, and then you could have a range on that, and that would actually probably solve that problem. But now we're talking about more space, so that's another question for another day. But I think that actually could solve a problem that game developers have been having.
Okay, so this is a roller coaster of a story right here.
Yeah, so the body type 1 and 2 came out. Somebody quickly modded it, and then Nexus Mod banned the mod.
That's so gay.
Hang on.
It gets better.
We're just going up the hill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see, what is this?
This guy is basically
Tulpa Town.
Where's the other part? Was it not put in there? Okay.
I put it in there. Did you not pull it?
Character models. Okay,
there it is.
No, there was other things in between because I clicked on it in the list. But Nexus has apparently remembered or realized that they have competition now. So they have now reinstated the mod, and locked its comments, so nobody can flame about it in the comments. But they claimed that they had actually banned it because of the user for some reason who made it.
Bullshit.
But I highly doubt they knew anything about the user. They just knew what the mod was, what it did, and because they have a habit of banning things like that.
They have a history of it.
I mean, they've got a history of it. It's not hard to tell that you guys banned it purely for political things. But I guess they also remembered that they're not the only game in town, and this is not working to their advantage anymore.
Yeah, their competition's growing fast.
Yeah, they're like, oh, you don't want all the money on the table? Okay. We'll take the money on the table.
But yeah, so
they came out and was like, we're sorry.
We're sorry.
We're sorry.
So sorry. Yeah, I'm sure you are. I'm sure. And so it's just the insults to our intelligence, the constant gaslight. It just gets so frustrating.
I mean, hell, I didn't know that Nexus had a content blocking tool until this. Now, they can't see it on the stream, but down at the bottom, it says, there's no need to report this mod page. If you prefer not to see, bolded, this content, we encourage you to make use of the content blocking tools by blocking the real world issues tag or the author, and list the name of the author.
I don't understand why a mod would piss you off that much. Now I could say, maybe I don't need it in my search results if I'm seeing like a bunch from this particular person and they're not particularly useful. But I mean, you need to block a mod. Like, isn't that kind of a don't use it kind of thing? Like, I don't understand. Like, it's like going to an ice cream parlor and they have, I don't know, some horrible, like, I don't know, like a taco or something like that.
Well, it's the same reason why I block the adult games on Steam. I don't want to see that shit. I also don't want my kid to accidentally see it if he's, in my library or something or on the Steam store. But the difference is, I'm blocking adult content because I just don't feel like seeing it, and I guess I'm a prude. I don't know. This one is they're seeing it and then they're getting triggered by it.
Yeah. So I mean,
Right.
the thing is though, there is a very clear distinction though, and the thing is that like there's usually a filter for that kind of thing. Like you can filter, I don't want to see adult content, and if it has something to do with nudity or something like that, then that's fine. But I don't know if there is such a thing for male female distinction. Like that doesn't really fall into an easily filterable thing.
So there's a community notice regarding the mod.
Yep.
Of course there is.
Ugh. I love that there's a notice on it too.
So on Oblivion's remastered day, former Blizzard boss says he's skeptical about a 20-year-old remaster because the bar has simply moved moved from safe open world RPGs to what Elden Ring brought us all. Now, this is one of my favorite devs. He happened to be in charge of Blizzard once upon a time. His name is Mike Ybarra. And he was in charge when Warcraft Refunded was a thing. God, I hate this guy. Anyway, so he was very, very upset about this remaster because he doesn't think
it made him look bad.
The gaming world wants it. Like the gamers don't want remasters. There's remaster fatigue, and it's like, there is a difference between putting love and soul into a remaster and actually doing it. Like this is setting the bar for remasters, right? Versus what you did, Mike, which was to take a beloved game, remaster it, promise a bunch of shit, remove all the shit you were going to promise, don't tell anyone about it until they get in and find out it's not actually there. Also, make it inferior to its original product while also taking out a bunch of things the original product had and no longer has now, and forcing it on top of everybody who has the original installed on their computer, wiping it from existence through an update, forcing them to play your updated piece of shit. There's a difference between those two things, guys.
Yeah, yep. there's not remaster fatigue. There's badly remaster fatigue. There is murdering old things that I love fatigue. That's what the fatigue is.
Yeah. Yep. Now, on top of that, remasters aren't trying to compete with Elden Ring.
No,
these are different things. Now, if you were making a project that was to go toe-to-toe with Elden Ring, naturally, we would compare it with Elden Ring. But we don't when you're not making a project comparable to Elden Ring. Like, for instance, Avowed. Nobody in their right fucking mind looked at Avowed and said, Elden Ring did it fucking better. Because Elden Ring wasn't even in competition with Avowed, or Avowed wasn't in competition with
Avowed.
with Elden Ring. But do you know what Avowed was in competition with? Fucking Skyrim, which was years ago, and did it fucking better. That's because that's the type of game Avowed was. It wasn't in competition with Elden Ring. Skyrim is not in competition with Elden Ring. Nobody is in competition with Elden Ring except Souls-like games for the most part.
Now, I will say this. I am curious if they're going to, you got Skyrim VR. I'm curious if they're going to do an Oblivion remaster VR.
I don't know about that, but I want to see a Morrowind done like this.
Oh, that would be good. By the way, something I want to really quick touch on. They updated the game mechanics in Oblivion. Remember when you put an arrow in, the only way to get rid of it is to shoot it? Now they use the Skyrim arrow thing where you can actually undo it.
Oh, that's nice. But anyway, I'm skeptical about a 20-year-old remaster, he says in a tweet. What was once fantastic, now remastered, will never hold up against modern masterpieces like Elden
They're
Ring.
not
The
meant
bar
to.
has simply moved from safe, yeah, because it's not in competition with modern masterpieces like
Yeah.
Elden Ring. Which I'm actually surprised you have the ability to understand that Elden Ring is a masterpiece. I mean, I considering how much
Good
you
point.
fell Blizzard, I am surprised you can even tell that. But at least he got something right.
Hey, broken clocks, you know.
But anyway, let's see. In response to a comment about the value of nostalgia, Yabara said, "I hear you, but I think we have had so many remasters that nostalgia is limited. I could be wrong, but I think the community wants fresh and new more than ever, and then
No,
it's promptly proved wrong 2 hours later when it went live."
and it's not. It's by the way, it's not even that. It's fresh and new is fine if you have the competency to do it. None of the developers these days can do that.
Well, au contraire, there is what is that game that just came out? Expedition 33.
Yeah, I actually didn't hear about that until like today, I think, or
Yeah,
yesterday,
Misfit's been
because it
gushing over
launched
that.
at the same time.
Yeah,
So Oblivion kind of stole all its thunder, but I heard it was doing really good. So
it's
Yeah,
so
so
I watch people play video games because clearly I can't play them myself. And the intro to that, like the prologue to that game, I was like, I have feels and these things must die. Like I was like, I don't want to play because it's turn based RPG. But even the turn based looked cool. I was like, this is awesome. The the style was good. I was like, this is just it's just very
yeah.
well done.
My Joe is really into those, so I'm honestly probably going to buy this for her.
You should. It's a very pretty game.
I
It's
just
a
got
little dark.
yeah.
I'll say
Well,
that.
no, that's the thing is somebody described it as Legend of Dragoon, and I was
Of
like,
course.
Joe loved that game,
Oh,
so I was
okay.
like,
anyway, I don't really know much about it. It's not really doing like major or anything, but it
I
did
think
get
that this is going to be
overshadowed.
one of those things that has legs, though. You know, like there's some
yeah,
things that,
slow burn.
yeah. Well, I mean, people will once people see what it is, more people will play it because it's got such quality. Like there are a lot of things that people get on the hype train and then they fall off of it.
Yeah,
But I think that this game looks. I mean, I'm not sure. Maybe it gets like super difficult or the gameplay gets kind of janky or something like that. But from what I saw, it was gorgeous. It was engaging. You're very interested. Everybody has these different power sets, of course, because it's RPG. You have to.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, it just you want to discover what's going on. You're very confused and concerned about what's going on, and so yeah, it looks good, and I'm like, huh, son of a duck. I think this is a French game, I believe. I'm like, huh. So
Yeah.
Ubisoft, you can't even blame it on being French.
But yeah, I didn't even know this game was a thing, so I don't know
Oh, it's
anything
French.
about it.
The sound is gorgeous too.
Soon she'll wake and paint again. Paint
Oh
a
wait,
new
is this the
number.
game about where if you like hit a certain age, you like die or something?
Well, no. So actually, it's a different way. So this, I don't know when this person showed up, but they showed up and they started counting down. I want to say from 100. And so when they first came in, they put up 100, and everybody who was 100 years old died. And then the next time they put up, they put up 100, and then when they came back out and put up 99, everyone who was 100 died. And so now they're doing that, going just counting down. And so so in this one, you come in basically on the last day of 34. And so then she comes in, she puts in 33, and everybody who's 34 just dies. And these people are going to go out, and so the expedition 33, these are the people who are 33 years old, and they're going to go out into the wilds and try to figure out what's going on and if there's a way to stop it. And the thing is that this is their last year, though.
Interesting story.
Mhm.
So that's an interesting story.
It is,
Yeah.
and that's just the beginning. We don't know what's out there. So you come in, and so that's just the prologue, and you basically see the setup and the going through of it. Very like I'm telling
Zio's
you,
like,
I was
and
interested, and I
bye.
didn't care. Like, dude was like, "I'm playing Expedition 33." I was like, "Oh, nobody cares," but I'm bored, so fine. And I was like 5 minutes in, I had like feels, and I was like, "Oh, come here!" I was trying to hug my cat. It was just, it was really good. And the thing is that you basically, the story basically really starts in earnest is when you get out there, and your first, I want to say, day out there is just you suddenly realize exactly how terrifying the world is, and now what you have to do to beat it, and you don't know if it's possible, because frankly, from what I thought, I was like, I don't know how you're going to beat this. Like, it looks like everybody's just going to have to die. Like, that this makes no sense.
All
So
right, well,
Guess
let's
I'll
watch
die.
this trailer real quick.
yes.
Finish watching it.
One stroke, and everyone of that age vanishes into nothingness. Every year she paints again.
Just like Thanos.
And every year, an expedition departs for the continent with one hopeless mission. Destroy the paintress so she can never paint death again. We'll break the cycle so she can't steal anyone else's future.
This world is full of wonders.
Yet everywhere we go, we walk with death.
Do you mean we're the only ones left?
Yeah, so that even they make a way to make menu fighting.
Oh, that is definitely
That is Legend of Dragoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is that even when they're doing things, you can still, like, when it's turn based, but when they're doing something, you can dodge or deflect. So you can hit a button to let you dodge or deflect. You have to do it perfectly, but it at least allows you a little bit of agency inside of turn based. And I was like, that is freaking awesome! And then the angles and everything, I was like, this looks awesome! And I hate menu fighting so much. I call it menu fighting because it seems so lame, but that looks awesome.
It feels like you're so angry that you like it.
I am angry that I like it. I like a turn-based game. I'm upset. Just like when I found out that Yu-Gi-Oh was watchable, I was mad.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to get this.
Yeah. Oh, dude, you totally have to get this.
Here's the thing: I'm gonna have to get it for Joe and myself.
Yeah, I know. It's gonna be for Joe, sure.
We lay the trail for those who will come after. Right. We are Expedition 33.
Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna end with any good feelings. It doesn't seem like it's going to, but man, yeah, I'll watch somebody play it. I can't
Wow.
be invested, but yeah, it. From what I've seen, like I saw maybe like an hour and a half of gameplay, and I was like, "Dang, this is a well done game." Look at us in the present day, in current day, doing stuff that's not absolute garbage. What?
Yeah, it looks really intriguing. I might have to check that out at some point.
Apparently, the staff is like 30 people or something like that. It just. These games like Marathon or Assassin's Creed, what is it?
Did we lose some stories?
I guess.
Oh, yeah.
And
you know how it goes.
And Veilguard, they have no excuse. These are choices that are made, and you can see what happens when you make good choices and when you make bad choices. So
wait a minute. Was one of those stories about the Ubisoft thing? We didn't lose that, did we? Okay, no, we didn't.
Nope. It was Pirate Nation, Oblivion Remaster, The Statue of the Emperors.
Really? That was benign.
Changed to hide cleavage and give her a strong female stance.
Well, here's the thing with that. I'll just summarize. They put more clothing on the statue, like it looked more clothed. But the thing is, I didn't care too much about how the clothed Marvel looked, so much as I think the stance that the statue took was way better than the original because it looked more actioned, which for a warrior or queen would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
But it's whatever.
He's not better at all. It's just whatever, bro.
Of course, I'm not going to be able to just put it in and find it because
no.
Come on, game.
But all right, it's the D-pad Chad show now because everybody got booted. They'll be back in one moment. This happens every time.
It sure does.
And we hit that, I think it was like, the 2-hour mark. Yep, every time we hit the 2-hour mark, everybody gets booted. And now I'm the head of the show.
I think this is the way to kind of make sure that Zio, that we're all warned that Zio will be turning into a pumpkin shortly.
Is that what it is?
Zio?
Yeah. We'll say it's the warning system.
the warning system. Anyway, so let's see. One of the biggest names in anime is quietly supporting a legal push to cut off internet access for piracy? Let's see. Universal Music Group, Capitol Records are suing to get ISPs to stop providing internet access to users. Oh, I don't like that at all.
Yeah.
It'd be one thing if there were ISPs fucking everywhere, but there's fucking not.
And also,
I mean, there's like two in my town, and half the county doesn't get the other one.
Well, a lot of the ISPs can't afford this either. I looked into it, and I had Gronk run some probability on this. There's a probability that they would fold to the pressure, but it's also very likely that this would create a whole new basically it's one of those when there's a power hole, it gets filled by competition.
That's the problem. There's no competition to fill it with.
Which then would
the only thing that would be available in my area would be Starlink if you wanted it, because that's the only other thing we can get. We've got Xfinity and what's the other thing? Comcast, Spectrum? I think.
Oh, Comcast. Geez, I worked for them. Ooh.
And that's it. And half the county doesn't even get half of what we have.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So part of the county is it's either Comcast or whatever it is in Xfinity, and that's your only option outside of one of the satellite versions if you want that, or now Starlink because that exists in current day. But
I don't
it's
think
not like you. I mean, it might be different in cities. I don't know. Maybe they've got 15 different ISPs to pick from.
Yeah,
But yeah.
Yeah, there's a high chance this won't go anywhere because ISPs are covered by the Safe Harbor Act.
This would be detrimental to them. It's I don't know. I don't think I have ever met an anime fan who doesn't use some kind of site to watch a majority of their anime. Except for maybe a few, because some of them they enjoy the convenience of something like Crunchyroll and can afford to. So yeah, they have Crunchyroll, but a lot of them,
Crunchyroll doesn't have everything.
Yeah, it doesn't have everything, and a lot of them do find other ways to get their anime fix. So,
yep. But yeah, also Universal Music Group can rot in hell.
Yeah.
For other reasons.
They're for other reasons, but yeah.
Scum of the earth.
Anyway, so the last thing. Ubisoft cut spying on users in Assassin's Creed and other games.
As if Assassin's Creed wasn't stupid enough. Now you got to spy on people who play it. Maybe they're confused as to why.
Find 104 million USD. Mandatory online connections may be banned for them. Oh, I hope so. Can we do that with everybody? Ubisoft game faces 79 million fines as privacy experts uncover hidden data harvesting. Who would have thunk it?
Oh, no. By the way, I just realized this is going to be so much worse for them because that's just in the U.S. They have to deal with the EU's privacy policies.
No, this is the EU.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
because they were fined 79
million
euros.
Oh,
I think that's the euro symbol.
And then 104 million USD.
And it's about 104 million USD.
Oh.
But yeah. And I hope that hits the gaming industry as a whole. I really do.
Yeah,
because
me too.
There are so many, where they're like, oh, it's got to be online all the time. And it's like, it's a single player game, you dunce. Why? Well, it's got to be.
So that they can harvest your data.
Now, we can do something about that. You just got to get that one in. And the fact that they were doing a naughty while doing it. But yeah, mandatory online connections for single player titles. It's like, there's no reason for it to be.
Oh, no, there's a reason.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure there's a reason.
It's not a legal one, but there is a reason.
Because, like, Microsoft and stuff, again, it's like why you don't use in-game comms.
Yep.
Because they will ban you for saying the wrong thing over their in-game comms.
Same with Rockstar.
Sure you're having fun correctly, Zio.
Because it wasn't that long ago, I think one of the other kids, not mine, but my girlfriend's other kid, was telling me how he was banned from Fortnite for a few days. And I was like, why? What'd you do? He goes, apparently I said something I shouldn't have said on comms, but I don't know what it was, and all this other stuff. And I was like, this is why I keep telling y'all to not use the in-game comms, kid.
Right.
But yeah, you do you, I guess.
Yeah, kids. They'll learn eventually.
Dad!
Yeah, but anyway.
Dad!
Can you give me a minute?
No.
What?
We have to go to bed. Can you please let us?
Okay, give me a minute. I'll be there. Oh my goodness. Anyway, so my kids are calling me, if you heard.
No, we didn't hear anything.
Because I don't think I muted myself.
No, you did not.
No, really.
That's right. They're ready for bed. We've got a big day tomorrow, so yeah, and it's after 10 o'clock. And
yep.
Yeah,
Old
so
man
this is
has-
going to be the
old man
end of our
Zio.
show. Can anybody want to tell us what we're doing this week?
Well, I am playing Kina
Oblivion?
badly, and it's so bad. But you know what? So it's just becoming more and more apparent to those who watch me that while I am not the worst player in the world, I will find the dumbest ways and the dumbest times to mess up. So like the battling and the dodging and everything like that, I'm like, oh, timing, oh, look at me, yeah, and then I'm just gonna like run off a cliff. So yeah, it's like stupid crap like that.
Fair
So
enough.
yeah. So if you're so inclined to watch me do stupid things like that, come watch Meg live at on here on Rumble exclusively because I'm lazy. At 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific time, at Central Mountain. I love you guys. I believe in you. Yeah. So yeah, come along and we'll see what's up.
All right, Chad.
I'm doing a lot.
You're so busy.
Yeah. And I feel bad because there's people that are like trying to get my attention. I'm like, I'm too busy. I'm sorry. And essentially what I'm doing is this, obviously, more Grand Theft Auto Online, more debauchery, more blowing up cars and creating action movies. And tomorrow I'm doing Darmus Rumble Squared, or I think it's like Rumble Square Table, where he has a bunch of people on.
Round table.
Is it round table? Okay.
I don't know. I think it is.
It's like Rumble Squared is what I think he calls it. But anyway, I'm going to be on that with a bunch of different people. And
what purpose?
Huh?
For what purpose?
Talking about the state of Rumble essentially and getting a gauge of the landscape.
It's his hangout. It's Dara's hangout. Sorry, that's what it's called.
Yep.
They talk about all sorts of things.
Yeah, it is. But like that seems to be the focus from what I could gauge.
Yeah, I think it was he wanted to have it to that people could talk about ways to make Rumble a better and more viable platform.
Yep. But other than that, I'm going to try to fit in a long stream tomorrow. And depending on how things go, I might actually drop the money on Oblivion and play it on stream.
Oh, you bastard.
What?
Dare you? I don't blame you. I would too.
Yeah, I'm really leaning towards that. It's been so... And by the way, Oblivion was... Like, Morrowind was my favorite, story-wise. I loved Morrowind. But Oblivion really was that, like, holy crap, this open world stuff is viable.
No, it is what put Elder Scrolls on the map for a lot of people. So.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm kind of in the air. Also, I did hit all my goals for the partner program, so I'm looking forward to doing it all again next month.
Congratulations on that.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I'm pretty sure I'm still in it. Like, I think it's ongoing. So.
Well, I guess we'll find out eventually.
And a lot of people got. By the way, congratulations to all the people that's been posting. They got into the program. They got a new round of people applying, and I think they're just kind of building it up. So I think, yeah.
Alrighty. So we'll be doing this again next Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. If you want to join us, hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button, hit whatever button it is that allows you to see that we are live at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. You can join myself, D-Pad Chad, and Meg over there. Oh, wait, Meg's over there. Anyway, as we talk about all the gaming news for the week. But yeah, aside from that, I probably won't be streaming much of anything else because I never do.
Yeah, just tune in for bite-sized news, though, because he does do that through the week.
I've been trying to keep that up, which, is what it is. It requires me to I usually wind up recording that one at work. So, yeah, no.
You can see his fancy vest.
That's right, my fancy vest all the time, and me after I've been like sweating all day in the hot sun and all this other stuff. But yeah, it's great. It's little 30-second blips of what's going on for the day or the past few days or whatever it is. But yeah, so links for everybody, of course, is always in the description down below. If you want to go follow Meg or Chad or anybody else, you can find them there. If you want to hit Dara up, he's down there too. You can watch Chad tomorrow during his Dara Hangout. Until then, we will see you in the next one.
Bye.